Hello and welcome to that Bible Guy. Why do so many people not know God? This is a perplexing question. And we're not talking about intellectual belief. Why do people not intellectually believe in God? But why do so many people, not have any relationship with God? Not seem to care about whether He's there or not? They don't seem to have any experience in their lives about seeking God or relationship with God or answered prayers. It is perplexing because as Christians we follow God, we respond to the evidence, I believe, and then we live a life accordingly. But so many people see the same evidence, live in this earth the way we do, and yet don't see things the way we do and don't have a relationship with God. Well, this is the perplexing question. Why have they not responded to the evidence? Well, we're not alone in asking a question like this. It was also asked to Jesus as well. Not in that format necessarily, he's on the earth at this point, but he was asked by Judas, not Judas Iscariot. You may not have realized this, but John chapter 14, and in verse 22 it says, Then Judas, not Judas Iscariot, said, But Lord, why do you intend to show yourself to us and not to the world? So what's he talking about? So Jesus, why are you showing yourself to us and not the world? Jesus has said he's about to leave. And he said, I'm going to comfort my followers. I'm going to come and live in you in the form of the Holy Spirit. All before this, Jesus promises the Holy Spirit. And he says, I'm going to come and live in you. I'm going to be with you. We're going to make our home with you. Don't be worried. Don't be afraid. Exactly what they needed to hear. But in saying all of this, Judas asked this obvious question like, well, you've promised this to us, your inner circle, your followers. We are so lucky. We are so blessed. How incredible would you feel? Jesus is leaving, but he's still going to live in us. Wow. But like, why us? Why are we so blessed? Why are we so privileged? Like us today, why are we following God? Why have we got it, so to speak? Although we're totally messed up, of course, we have to acknowledge that. But why us? Why has the rest of the world not got this? Why do you intend to show yourself in this way, this special way, to us but not to everyone? Jesus then answers the question in reference to that statement that Judas just made. And Jesus said, Anyone who loves me will obey my teaching. My Father will love them, and he will come to them and make our home with them. Anyone who does not love me will not obey my teaching. These words you hear are not my own, they belong to the Father who sent me. Jesus answers the question for Judas as to why he would show himself in a special way to the disciples, but not everyone. And for me, this also, in part, deals with why so many people don't know God and don't have a relationship with God. Well, put simply, Jesus says, the reason I've got a special relationship with you is because it's those who obey my teaching that we will love them and come and make our home with them. We will come and make our home with the person who obeys my teaching. It says it explicitly in John 14 and 15. It's full of, if you love me, you obey my commands. Anyone who loves me will obey my teaching. Father will love them. We'll come to them and make our home with them. The response to loving Jesus was that he would come and make his home with you. He then says, anyone who does not love me will not obey my teaching. You could follow that up with, we will not then come and make our home with them because we don't want to be rude and impose. We're going to come and make our home with the person who loves me, and they show that they love me by obeying my teaching. So for me, this is kind of answering why do so many people not know God? Because they have not chosen to obey his teaching. I'll elaborate what I mean by that in a second. But it's just to say, to start with, I'm not saying that all Christians are morally superior to non-Christians and that non-Christians cannot do wonderful acts and good things and a Christian, so-called Christian, can be full of sin and hypocrisy and everything else. I'm not about weighing it up, but I am talking about how does God come and live in us in a special way so that we know him? Well, I remember this. It's about obeying his teaching. God has revealed himself via general revelation to the world through the created order so that we would ask and know there's a divine mind behind the order and complexity that I see. So I believe we are supposed to respond to general revelation obediently to there is a God. The other thing we're obedient to, and this really strikes a chord with me, is the moral law. So whenever we're young, when I was young, I knew there's certain things are right and there's certain things that are wrong. And I believe most people know that. But I believe if responding to that is the first steps to obeying Christ's teaching, and I believe then if you're on that path, that's the path to knowing God, where he'll love him, he'll obey his teaching, and he'll come and make his home with us. For me, I knew myself. I was going to church every week. I wasn't a Christian. I knew myself that I didn't know God, as I'm saying. I knew in my own life I would, swear when I felt like it, get angry when I felt like it. There's people I didn't like. I'd be very lustful with my eyes. There was girls I was trying to sleep with. I was trying to live in whatever way made me happy. But I knew that it was wrong. I knew that there's a way I should be living here. And I needed to acknowledge that. And that was the start of obeying his teachings. Now, I'm not saying that every Christian is morally perfect, but it's that starting point of acknowledging that there's a right way to live here. This is what convicted me. As I studied the Bible, I realized, oh, wait, I've got to put aside my view of how I live and obey his teaching. I've got to obey his teaching. If I believe God's there, then surely he knows better than me. It sounds like when you use the word obedience, it's very unpopular today. But surely, if God is God, he created all the world that we see, all time, past, present, and future, we will answer to him one day, then surely he knows best. And surely I need to put aside my view of how to live and obey his teaching. So for me, this is what I had to do, and I've made many mistakes along the way, but this is what I had to do. And I believe, why do so many people not know God? Well, there's a lot of people have not responded to the moral law that God has put in their heart. And when I say respond, I mean acknowledge it, and then try to change. We'll fall short. We do fall short. We need his help. As we try to change, we become aware of the fact that we can't without his help. Then we lean on him, and then we can become people who obey his teaching a bit better whilst we still fall short. So I think Jesus answered this question here, and it helps me answer as well. Why do more people not know God? Well, if we love him, we will obey his teaching. We cannot say, as Jesus said, that we love him, but we don't try to obey his teaching. It doesn't work. They're diametrically opposed. It's directly proportional. Our love is directly proportional to obeying his commands. An inverse proportional relationship consists where we say we love him, but we don't follow his commands. We will automatically obey his commands. And then it says then, he will come and live in us and make our home with us. This helps me understand, the same for Judas here, why this special relationship with some, but not others. It's open to all. But what you've got to do is obey my teaching. And then as we figure out that that's hard, then we lean on him for help. If you like this today, please hit the like button. Please share us on for other people. Please subscribe if you haven't already to That Bible Guy, and let's get his word out there.